My name is Jasmine Jones. I am a licensed clinical social worker, and you are now watching Black Girl Therapists in the Wild. This is a little show I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews. Today, we are reviewing Euphoria, Season 2, Episode 6, 1,000 Little Trees of Blood. And we are sipping on, I think it's like a superfood juice or something I got from the grocery store. And some vodka, yes. It has elderberry in it. Healthy and unhealthy at the same damn time. Look at that. So, some parents got read for filth. Some, not read for filth, but more so, we kind of got to see more of a perspective of how the parents see the troubled child in the family, the overtly troubled child. Nate got told basically that his parents knew that both of them knew that something's wrong with him. And, Rue is still on the journey to healing, and there's no mention of how she owes this white woman this money, and it's irritating the fucking shit out of me. But let's get into it. Yay. So, I don't know. I'll start off with Rue since she was like most of the first part of the episode. Let's get her out the way. So, basically, Rue is strung out. She is going through withdrawals from her, morphine inducement from this white woman. She did go home. That's a positive that she went home. She can barely open. She can't open. I say barely. She can't open a Jolly Rancher. She doesn't want water. Her mom is stressed to the nines. And, it's a horrible place. Somebody mentioned that Rue doesn't really want to kill herself because she stopped herself from getting hit by cars, or she prayed that she wouldn't get hit by cars when she ran across the street from the police. True. Rue doesn't want to kill herself. She just wants the pain to stop. And so she thinks that killing herself would be the final place that you will go for the pain to completely stop. But no, when you kill yourself, this is if you love and care for the people that are around you. This is not, if you don't care about these people, then okay. That's another thing that has to be worked through and stuff. But the pain doesn't stop when you kill yourself. The pain is transferred over into your family members and friends that care about you, and then they're traumatized. And then that trauma just cycles through their lives and possibly their family, their family that they create outside of you, their lives and things like that. It doesn't stop. Pain just gets passed on when you don't, when you kill yourself. So, something to consider for those that may be contemplating suicide or, anything like that. Just understand that it does not stop, and if you care about your family and friends and things like that, just consider that. Maybe that can be a motivation to make you want to consider not wanting to go that route and trying your damnedest best to try to stay alive. Because at the end of the day, I think a lot of people that are suicidal don't really want to die. They want the pain to stop, but there are other ways to make the pain stop that are not harmful or addictive, and it just takes a lot of work. And it's kind of like in doing that work, the pain takes a while before it stops. And it doesn't stop completely. It's just you go down to a normal human level of pain rather than the heightened emotional pain you always feel on a regular basis. You have painful moments throughout your life that, because you're working through it in therapy and through interventions and things like that, the pain, you can get through those moments of pain a little bit faster, and then they happen less frequently. And get back into the road of happiness or contentment or both, so it's scary to talk about suicide. So, anybody that's triggered, I am sorry. I am a therapist. So, I have to kind of consider these things on a regular basis. So when I watch this show, that's what I see. Somebody that's hurt, somebody that's grieving, somebody that's very young, handling all of these hard emotions, and the only way that they can see for the pain to stop is through addiction and death. and or death, because she may just want to overdose on accident. She doesn't want to necessarily be aware of the death happening. So that's the thing too, to show that she doesn't really want to die. She doesn't even want to be aware that the death is happening. But yeah. So she's at home and she's just like going through healing from withdrawals. No mention of this money that she owes this white woman. I don't care. I will spend the rest of my life making sure my child is healed before I deal with drug lords and gangbangers. You got me fucked up. No. Like I said, I grew up in the hood. This should be at the forefront of the episodes, but it's not. It's how these children are feeling, and it's valid. It is. It's valid. But at the same time, it's like a whole new life can be created by ignoring this bullshit. They're talking about sending her to rehab, and I'm just like, this child is going to come home to her whole family slaughtered. They're not even... Ali comes over. He makes dinner. She it's so hard for her, but she eventually calls Ali and she apologizes to him, because Rue's not a bad person. Rue's not a Nate. Even though she's using some of the mechanisms Nate uses to manipulate people, lie to people, bullshit people, they're all doing these sorts of things. But none of them are narcissists. Nate is, though. Nate has an issue. We'll get to that motherfucker. Anyways, yes. She is hurting, and so she's lashing out like a wild animal trapped in a corner. And so she understands that now that she's sober. And it's interesting because she goes into this whole monologue about how no one can forgive me. They just base your life on one moment like police do, and everybody does that. And I'm just like, girl, you made one phone call and said you were sorry, and this man forgave you. Everybody in your life might not forgive you, but some people may, especially if they see that you're on the right track and you're like continuing on the right track. This is like, think of like whoever watches Insecure. I have a lot of new followers. Hey world, how y'all doing? Some of these people I think are Gen Z. So I don't know how many of them watch Insecure, because Insecure speaks to me as a 34-year-old woman. So I don't know. But whoever is out there watching Insecure, think of Nathan. Nathan was just out here like having manic episodes, didn't know he was bipolar, running away from things, doing all this stuff, ran out of his cousin's house, left the door unlocked, doing all these things. And, he had to go and show people that cared about him that he had changed. And it was a rough road. People didn't trust him. People didn't believe him. Some people never came back. But over time, even his cousin kind of came around. We saw him in other episodes besides the one where, his cousin called him out about that and lied on his wife. He was trash too. But anyways... if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine. But just take to heart that not everyone's going to be forgiving. I always like to use the example of if someone is in an abusive relationship and they break up and they're done for good, and the abuser goes and gets help and heals completely, no longer wants to harm anybody, knows how to handle their emotions, has apologized to people and got their life together. That doesn't stop your former victim from being triggered by the mere sight of you. That's how phobias are created, sweetheart. And it's not something that just is going to go away. You have to validate the fact that this person cannot be around you, period. No matter how nice you are, no matter how much you worked on yourself. Part of healing is just being able to let that person go. Just let them go. You have to understand that you scared them that much. And so she's feeling like no one will forgive her, but as soon as she makes that phone call to Ali been there. He's been through worse, girl. Ali's been through worse than you. He's experienced worse. He's hurt people in worser ways. And I'm sure all he has wanted in his life is forgiveness. And that's why he contacts his daughters and tries to keep the connection with them, respects their boundaries if they don't want to talk to him and things like that, tries to make sure that when he talks to them, he doesn't sound like he's manipulating or guilting them and things like that, because that is the constant work that you have to do when you've traumatized somebody like that. I left these fucking cheeses in here. I see them. I'm gonna eat these while I'm talking. I don't care. And so she clearly shows, if you don't like hearing eating, I don't care. And if you do ASMR, bitch. And so this show clearly shows that the spiral your brain can go down when you're going through emotional upsets, and how your brain can catastrophize everything and how people feel about you, and basically give you more motivation to keep in the place of pain and degradation and addiction and things like that, to keep you there. And it shows that, but once you reach out and try, once she came home and opened that door, her mom was still there for her. Her sister still loves her, even though she side-eyeing that bitch like, I don't trust you, ho. And Ali still cares. He understood. He went home. He took some deep breaths. He calmed down. He realized this is a 17-year-old child that's on drugs. Woosah. Let me go. I feel better. And he waited. He probably was waiting for her phone call. Like, I'm still here for you, girl. You're going through something. I can't be around it. He set a boundary. That's what he was doing. So I always use the example, like, it's your crackhead cousin. Think of Requiem for a Dream. Whoever's seen that, it's a marvelous movie. I love you. You're my best friend. You're my best cousin. You're my best everything when you're sober. But when you're not sober, honey bunches of oats. I can't. Doesn't mean I'm out of your life forever. It just means that when you're not sober, the person you become is too much for me because it's triggering for me. And Ali was probably feeling that. He tried to hold on and be her friend because she talking about she a functioning drug addict. You can't be a functioning drug addict on that much drugs. No. But Ali was still trying to hold on, but it became too triggering for him. He had to step the fuck back because he was about to fuck her up. You could see his face. He was about to hit her in the face. He was just like, oh, Jesus, take the wheel, because I have worked on myself. This child is not going to pull me out of my character, bitch. So, yeah, he forgave her, as he should, yes, because he's probably been through worse and he genuinely cares about this child. He's telling her sister Gia that it's okay for her to be angry. You know, it's valid. You have to validate these emotions in order to get past them, or else what's going to happen is Gia's going to be sitting there angry, shoving it down. And then it's going to come out in other fucked up ways. Like how she was smoking weed last season and trying to be wild and do all this extra stuff and whatever. And it's like, no, girl, just be angry. It's fine. Just be angry at your sister. It's okay. And mom was over here trying to be like, oh, I think we should support Rue. But being angry doesn't mean you don't support her. Being angry just means like, these are valid feelings that I'm having because of the things that you've done that have scared the shit out of us. I'm still going to be here for you. It's like when your child runs into the street and almost gets hit by a car. And you run out there and you're angry. Why did you go out? Oh my gosh. No, you probably shouldn't do that to the child because they're children. They don't understand why you're screaming. You got to woo-side. You got to... Why did you run out into this fucking... See, I'll use fuck. Wait a minute. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. But, you know, that's what that anger is. That's that I'm frustrated because I love you and I don't want you to be hurt. And it's bothering the shit out of me that you're not getting your life together or that you're unable to at this point in time. That's what that anger is. And it's valid. It's a valid feeling to feel. You have to feel that in order to support somebody that you care about. Or else you're not going to be able to support them properly if you choose to support them. So yeah. He's valid. I love him. Ali is great. Magical. Wonderful man. And, you know, Rue's mom is trying to get her into rehab. And they said there was a bed available next week. At the end of the show, we see that there's no bed available.
But she needs to be in an inpatient hospital. You don't understand my daughter, okay? She's a drug addict, okay? And she's going to kill herself.
They're just putting her in detox and stuff like that. And I just feel like Rue needs to go to rehab. But I think she needs to stick around a little bit longer so we handle this money. Or, because mama's not... But mama doesn't know. Like, she didn't grow up in the hood. So, like, she sees a suitcase full of money. I don't know where she thought Rue got it from. Maybe her friend. I don't fucking know. But she sees not a suitcase full of money, a suitcase full of drugs. I don't know where she thought Rue got it from. But it's not clicking to her that that belongs to somebody. So we need the whole team together for right now so we can fight against these gangbangers. Okay? I thought no one's talking about it, and I'm upset. I am upset no one's talking about it. But so she's crying on the phone, telling these people that, my daughter's going to kill herself. My daughter's going to kill herself. And the people are just like, well, we just, we don't have, I guess they're saying they don't have the space, or they're saying that bullshit that they say, well, we don't see a need. We don't see a need. Probably because Rue's been in rehab before and she just got out pretty recently. And, they have, people that are cracked out on the street and shit in there. I don't know. There's no reason. There's no excuse. It's just, I've worked in these things before, and those are the things that they say when they don't have space or money or whatever, or they have someone worse off, or whatever the reason that they feel they have for Rue to not be there. It's not right. It's not okay. It just is what it is until people go to the government and lobby for better mental health care for people that are addicts and trauma and all the things. Okay, that's what we need. Government. They're not watching this, but they probably are. I don't fucking know. So there's Rue. Okay, we got the main character out the way. Let's do Kat. Kat, because it was really short. Kat calls Ethan to the diner.
So what are we doing here?
Going on a date.
Yeah? Because on the phone you just kind of made it sound like it was an emergency.
She's on the phone with Maddie. We'll get to Maddie and their conversation in a little bit. And so she's telling Ethan, at first she was going to say, I want to break up with you. Just be clear with her words. But Kat's not there yet. Kat is that bitch that wants to be on. She wants to be a part of the girl group. She's not, she doesn't like herself. So she doesn't feel that she's redeemable at this point. She's not there yet. So she makes up some weird ass, stupid ass lie about how she has a brain tumor or some dumb shit and it's terminal and she's going to be going to the hospital and all these. And he probably doesn't want to be around for that. Ethan's not a dumbass. Okay. Ethan's sensitive and in touch with his emotions and things like that. And he's like, why are you gaslighting me?
The experience.
Kat, you don't want to be in a relationship with me. And I get it. If it's okay, just say it. Just have the courage to actually be honest, because what you're doing right now is just feels like shit.
If you're gonna break up with me, just break up with me. It's not that serious. She just tries to gaslight him, like, I don't know what you're talking about. Are you trying to break up with me? It looks so dumb because Ethan isn't standing for it. He's just like, That's how you deal with manipulative people. You just don't allow them to phase you. You basically just call them out for their bullshit, and then you get up and leave like he did. He was just like, you know what? He basically reverse gaslit her and just said, you know what? You're going to lie to me. You're going to bullshit with me. It's fine. We can just break up. I'm more adult than you are. I'm more of an adult than you are. I'm more mature than you are. There you go. I'm more mature than you are. I'm just going to call it for what it is. Call a spade a spade. I have to go. It's fine. And she's just sitting there looking all fucked up in the face like, he was so much better than me, and he handled things betterly and things and blah. And I'm like, yes, girl. Yes, he did. But you're not there yet because no one's talking to these children about therapies. No one's talking to these children about the therapies. It's sad. Maddie is over here babysitting for this child, calling Kat, talking about, I want to kill Cassie. I want to murder her. I want to... And I'm just like, girl... what Nathan did to you at the end, I would have been like, good riddance. You can keep that nigga. You and Cassie belong together. Fuck that nigga. Shit. Okay, so she's on the phone talking about she gonna kill Cassie and da-da-da-da-da-da. And then, like, later that night, she trying on this bitch clothes. So the bitch knows she trying on her clothes because there's a camera in the clock. Girl. I guess she feels like she's kind of a mentor to Maddie, and so that's great. And so she comes home like in 15 minutes, so she got to take her dress off and everything, and like she greets her at the door, and the girl wants to like swim and drink with her and stuff, whatever. And so, she was telling Maddie that basically she was like Cassie when she was in high school. And she fucked her best friend's man a bunch of times because she was in a place where she didn't love herself and didn't realize that people would even want to marry her. And people were looking at her like she was a mess. Until one day she just figured it the fuck out and married this rich ass man. I'm sure she's rich too. And then they lived happily ever after someone. Probably went to therapy on top of it, but she didn't mention therapy. I wish she had. I wish the fuck she had. And Maddie's just like, I just don't think I can be with someone without fighting. I just think my brain isn't wired that way. And she was like, girl, if you was 40 and saying that would be one thing, but you're 18, you're young, you're fine. You're fine. You're being manipulated by some asshole. You're fine. Just, I wish I wish someone would mention therapy, someone. So Maddie goes home. She has this disc with her with the sex tape with Jules and her and what's his name? Cal. Yeah, and Cal on it. So she's driving home. Before we get home, let's go to Nate real quick. Let's talk about that nigga bitch. So Nate out here, like, he woke up, he had a marvelous morning because his dad was gone. He feels like he won a battle. Like, no, nigga, you're just a narcissist and a sociopath, and you just don't realize the impact that this man has left on your family. You don't care. You feel like it was a competition or some shit. It wasn't, honey. It wasn't a competition. And so his mom is in the kitchen, drinking and smoking and partying because she is just free. I'm free.
Give us free.
Give us free. She like the bitches at the end of the whiz. Like, I'm free. It's a new day. It's a new day. She in the kitchen dancing and smoking, and he's just like, what the fuck is wrong with her? And his brother sitting up looking all shell shocked. He's the only, I feel like his brother is literally the only sane one in the family. He reacted the way you're supposed to react when your dad does some shit like that, then walks out the house, and him and Nate and his mom is laughing at him like he's a dumbass. And I'm just like, okay, y'all. Like, she's sitting there telling Nate that she was happy that he beat Cassie ass. Like, he choked her or whatever. But, she was like, I just wish you hadn't choked her. But, I understood. Like, fuck that bitch. Not Cassie, Maddie. I just wish you hadn't choked her, but I understood because fuck that bitch. And I was just like, you're a grown up. But, this is the thing. If you have a lot of times, not all the time, because you go through these developmental periods that matter. If you have kids as a teenager, you don't really have a chance to explore yourself as an individual too much, especially if you get married right after that. And then you have 2 more kids. You don't really get a chance to explore yourself that much or to understand who you are as an individual in this world. You belong to your kids and to your husband and taking care of those people. So it kind of reacts like trauma, but not necessarily. It depends on how her marriage was. She may have been traumatized in that shit too. It feels maybe. I think she might have had a hint, because all women have a hint if their dudes are acting crazy. It's just that we be in denial, and then we be telling ourselves, this isn't what I think it is. Okay, girl, yeah, sure. It happened 15 times, but go off. He ain't cheating on you, girl. Right. He be out till 3 o'clock in the morning. Ain't got no job that needs him out till 3 o'clock in the morning. But go off, sis. Yes. Over at his friend's house till 5 a.m. His friend is out of town. But he's over there. I don't know. What do you think it is, girl? But anyway, so in trauma, you stop developing emotionally at the age you first experienced your trauma. I feel like that's what happened to Nate's mom. She stopped developing emotionally at the age that she had that fucking baby, and she was a wild child, and so she became this robot for her family and her husband. So when that nigga left, she was like, I'm wild, I'm free from this nigga. I can drink and smoke in the house and fuck niggas and do all these things and blah 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 blah. And I was like, okay, girl, and tell my son that it was okay to beat this bitch ass that was a child and a woman. It's just, But she did say something to Nate that was, profound. Was basically that Cal was fucked up, and it was unfortunate that they ended up with an even more fucked up child. So both his parents know that something's wrong with him emotionally, mentally, all the things. And no one's doing anything because Cal ran the roost, and Cal didn't believe in therapy. This is the only time outside of Jules and outside of Rue that therapy has really been mentioned with these children. And she was like, I don't know what to do. You know, you used to be this sweet little boy that used to bring me water at night and then come and give me kisses, but you wouldn't give your daddy kisses. And I was just like, see, that's the type of shit you put your foot down on, and you threaten divorce if you don't have it happen. Because those are your children, and they're more important than your man. I don't give a fuck. They're innocent little people that can't take care of themselves. They're more important than a grown-up. So, but she wasn't there because she's never had to stand up to this man because she's basically been a mom. That's all she's been since she had this baby, the first baby, and got married. So, you know, she basically said that Nate was crazy. Everybody knows it, and they don't know what to do about it. So, you know, because she started off with saying, like, you shouldn't be so angry at everybody. And he was like, I'm not angry at everybody. I'm just angry at my dad. And she was like, and he was like, it's one specific person. It's my dad. And she was just like, you know what, Nate, we're not even going to talk about this. We're not even. So Nate's angry at the world. He hates himself. It's just all the things that Nate has. He is the things. So Nate is up here like he's scared because Maddie has a disc, and he knows that Maddie is a very loyal person. And he loves her for it, but he's also definitely afraid of it because he knows that once you cross this bitch, she's coming for your fucking neck. And that's what you don't screw over loyal people. Loyal, healthy people will disappear on you and act like you never existed. Loyal, unhealthy people will spend the rest of their life trying to seek revenge on you. So yes, she has the disc. So Nate's going through his dad's drawer and he finds his dad's gun. Yes. White boy with a gun with mental health issues. Mental health issues, school shooters go together. Why? Let me tell you, children. Mental health issues are not the problem. That is a valid thing. You can be depressed, you can be anxious, you can be whatever. It's what you choose to do about your mental health that is the problem. I'm sad. I'm gonna go sock that bitch in the face and it's gonna make the sadness go away. That's the thought process. That's the connection. I'm sad. I'm gonna go meditate and calm myself down. That's what everyone else that has a healthy way of dealing with their mental health issues, that's what they choose to do. So the problem is I have a mental health issue. I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm bipolar, I'm schizophrenic, whatever. And then I make the choice to go and hurt people to feel better. It's together. People are like, no, you shouldn't call it mental health issue because it stigmatizes. No, dumbasses stigmatize people with mental health issues. Smart people can see how mental health issues and fucked up choices go together and say, okay, that person decided to make a fucked up choice about his mental health issues. This person decided not to. So yes, Nate is out here doing the whole like school shooter vibe. Like, who knows what the fuck Nate's gonna do? I don't think he's gonna shoot up the school. He's not mad at the school. He's gonna play these bitches. He's playing the bitches. That's what he's doing because that's all he knows how to do is play bitches. He may shoot up a school. Who knows? If he gets upset enough and can't handle it, he may just decide, I'm gonna take this gun and shoot Maddie in the face. Who knows? He got the fucking issues and shit. He makes poor choices about those issues. And so he takes his daddy's gun and then he goes and Edward Collins his ass into Maddie's home, watches her undress. Oh, Twilight Edward nigga. I was always a Jacob fan. After that movie where Edward left her ass and she went into that spiral depression and like she was abused or some shit and her abuser left her or something. Like, that's not how you supposed to be, honey. That is not how you supposed to be in love. And then she found him at the end of that movie, and we just been seeing tan, bronze Jacob, and just like, oh, look at the pectorals. I'm not because he was 17 in that movie. I'm not gonna go too deep with that, but he was looking good. He's a cute young man. He was a nice looking young man. Yes, we're not, because he was a 17-year-old man, a 17-year-old boy. So I looked it up while I was watching it on Netflix. I was like, how old was he? Because I'm feeling things, and I just want to make sure that he's not a minor. And then he was 17, so we're not going to do that. But he was, And then at the very end of the movie, we see this pale, dusty nigga about to walk into the sunlight. You can see all his veins, and I'm just like, why were we liking him? Like, what was the draw, the appeal to? You know what? See, I ain't never liked two pale niggas anyway. So this nigga up here, Edward Cullen, in her fucking room watching her change. She comes out, she see him standing there, and he was just like, just going into some weird ass monologue about this DVD and this stupid shit. And then he's just like, where's the CD, Maddie? Where's the CD? And he's like, wait a minute. Then he was like, he pulled out his fucking gun, and he was like, I got a gun, bitch. He didn't say that. He was just pointing at her. She was like, what are you doing? Why do you have this? Da-da-da. And he takes the bullets out, lays on top of her. And then I guess he was going to pretend to do Russian roulette. He puts the gun up to her head. Then he puts the gun up to his. See, I'm a grown up. And I've had niggas threaten to kill themselves and do all this extra shit. Now, if you're doing it over the phone, you're texting me, you're calling me, you're saying you're going to kill yourself, I'm just going to have the police come to your house and handle that. That's none of my business, because you're not going to manipulate me with your life. My life is more important to me. I don't give a fuck. Let that bitch have been me. I would have been looking up at that nigga like, I hope you do kill your motherfucker. No, I do not condone suicide. But no, the way that nigga was doing things, I would have been like, I can't control this situation. He has a gun. He's done a bunch of fuck shit to me. I'm not dealing with it. So there were no bullets in the gun anyway, so whatever. But I don't condone suicide. I just don't like manipulative people. And I don't like people that use their life to manipulate other people. That's fucked up. Go get help. And what he did was wrong. It was wrong. And so, he's shooting the gun off at his head, and she's just traumatized. She's shaking. She fucked up about this shit. And then she's like, it's in my purse. At first she was like, I don't know what you're talking about. When it came to the CD, she lied and said she didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. And he was like, okay. And then she was like, it's in my purse. It's in my purse. And he gets it out of her purse, and she just curls into a ball and starts to sob. And he was just like, I'm just joking, Maddie. It was a joke. The gun was empty, my nigga. What are you talking about? We don't joke like, who the fuck jokes like that? Who the fuck thinks that shit is funny? See, that's why Edward Cullen was scary. Who the fuck breaks into somebody's house and watches them sleep because they smell good? She thought that shit was romantic too. She was a child. I was a child too, and I thought that shit was weird. I was like, I don't want my space invaded like that without my permission. That's not sexy. Girl. And he's like, it's a joke. I'm just like, girl. So he leaves, and then this nigga gonna go to Jules' house. Now, we had a little mention of Jules earlier on, but Rue couldn't handle the narration about Jules. She was just like, you know what? I don't even want to talk about Jules and Elliot. Fuck them hoes. And so Nate goes to Jules' house, and he's like, I have this disc that I want to give you because my dad was trash.
I found out about you and my dad from this disc.
and you can do whatever you want with a disc. And then he grabs her hand and she's getting out the car. I just want you to know everything that I told you was true. And Jules is like, same Z's. And I'm just like, this nigga plays bitches. This nigga doesn't like Jules. He doesn't care about Jules. But he has lost Maddie. And since he's lost Maddie, he needs another bitch to play. Because that's just what the fuck he does. And so, he's going to play Jules most likely. And it's very, very sad. Because Jules was looking at him with those big old puppy dog eyes. Have you become a good person all of a sudden? I'm just like, no, girl. No, girl. And the fact that these kids could just walk out the house at fucking nighttime and shit, I'm just like, these parents are not, I don't care how old you are, you're still, if you're a minor in my house, you need permission to do things like this. You're not going outside. It's fucking 10. Where are you going? I need name, number. Like, people get murdered out in this bitch. The fuck? I'm just like, the parents are really not trying. They're not trying. Like you just give your children this much freedom just because they're almost 18. Like, I don't give a fuck. I wasn't allowed to do shit like that and just walk out the fucking house when I wanted to. Like, the fuck? Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm not saying that you got to restrain your children and be extra authoritative and shit with him. It just have a balance of fucking rules. Like, it was a rule not to leave the house after a certain time when the sun went down and shit like that. My nigga, like, it just is what it is. But because none of those rules were ever established for these kids, it was just okay for them to leave. It was okay for Jules to walk out the house and meet this nigga at his car. You know, it's just no. It's no. And there's a way to do it where you can teach your children how to respect the rules of the house without them feeling confined. So, you know, no, because look at what Jules out here doing. And we can't keep our children from everything, but this is some shit that could have been avoided. At least she's in therapy. At least she's in fucking therapy, I guess. So, you know, she's walking back to the house and then Jules looks at the video later and that's like part of the end of the shit and stuff. And so, what was Nate? And then Nate drives off. And then Nate calls Cassie. So Cassie, this whole time, has been having an emotional breakdown. Her mom's looking at her like, well, you shouldn't have slept with your friend's boyfriend. She shouldn't have. But that nigga shouldn't have said he loved her. That nigga shouldn't have hyped her up and said that they weren't together. That nigga shouldn't have played games with her emotions and her feelings, knowing that she has trouble saying no and that she's a vulnerable person. So all I'm saying is the only thing she should have done is should have had boundaries. Because he came for her. He came for her at that New Year's Eve party and told her, do you want to go in the bathroom? You asking a bitch that ain't never had boundaries, don't know what boundaries looks like. Do you want to go in the bathroom? So yes, she's going to say yes. If you never learn boundaries, you're not going to know how to enforce the boundaries. You probably don't even know what the word boundaries means, bitch. Like, the fuck? I'm not upset with Cassie. I'm not. She's having an emotional spiral. And this nigga's playing on it because he wants to have two bitches around to fuck. And manipulate. So, Cassie been having this emotional spiral this whole episode. She was in the kitchen trying to cut herself with a corkscrew. I don't think she really wants to kill herself. I think she just wants Nate to call because that's her trauma bond. That's her addiction. And since he's not calling, she's laying in the bathtub with a face mask on and tears running down her face, like calling him over and over again. It was going straight to voicemail, so I'm assuming he blocked her or muted her or whatever. And so she was just fucked up. Lexi over here just like questioning if she should do her play. Yes, you should question it, Lexi, because the play is about your sister and her fucking friends. And they're going to recognize themselves and other people in school are going to recognize them and they're going to come for you. You're not thinking ahead, but that's some developmental children shit. They don't plan ahead. They just go with their emotions and shit. It's a part of being human, but it's especially a part of being human when you're a child. So she over here and then she over at Fez's house and I'm just like, why are you at Fez's house? Fez about to have a popo on him. He about to have some drug lords on him. He don't even realize this shit. He just sitting there just chilling. They talking about Stand By Me and they want to watch it together and she telling him about her fucking play and shit. And I'm just like, please get out of his house before somebody raids it and you get shot in the face. But she doesn't know. She doesn't know. She just likes Fez because he's smart and says smart people things. But he also sells drugs and has a drug life, and you can't be a part of that life. Come to find out, we have heroin chic over here. She goes and takes the trash out during one of these visits with Fez. And her boyfriend is there, and he basically tells her he snitched on Fez and Ash Ketchum to the police, and he's basically going to be coming in there one of these days with a wire on to ask Fez questions, and she needs to just stay out the way. So she looks shocked at first, like, oh my gosh, you snitched. But then she goes in the house and she's like, looks at Ash Ketchum because he had to go pitch. Usually Ash Ketchum is on it because they were on the cameras. He just wasn't paying the fuck attention because he got used to this bitch being in the house. So she goes to the bathroom and just looks all forlornly out the door and closes the door. She's probably just went to get high because she couldn't handle all that information. God bless her and her addiction. So any day now, Fez may go to jail. Ash Ketchum may go to juvenile hall or to foster care. It's a horrible thing. Or the drug lords will come in and shoot up the place and everybody will die. Lexi needs to get the fuck up out of there. That is not her life. It isn't. She just wants to feel like she's doing something. It's not your life, girl. It's not your life. So Cassie, back to her, because that's all I can say about Fez and Ash Ketchum and Lexi and all this other shit. Cassie is up in his house tripping, and then after Nate leaves Jules, because at first I thought he was going to go to Cassie, but no, he goes to Jules. After he leaves Jules, he then calls Cassie, finally, after a whole day of Cassie sweating and crying and doing all these extras, which she is justified to do, because if a nigga hypes you up like that, you don't love yourself and you don't know shit about boundaries. This is where you're going to end up at when somebody manipulates you and emotionally abuses you. Yes. So calls Cassie immediately. She's just like, yes. And he's like, pack a bag. You're going to stay with me. And so she comes downstairs, and then before she opens the door, her mom, being her neglectful self, it's just sitting there with this giant glass of wine staring at her sadly. And I'm just like, these children just need better parents. They need consistent love and support and therapy. And it's just sad that they do not get the things that they need so that they can thrive in this fucking world that's trash. But anyways, she goes out the door and runs to Nate's car, and then they end up at Nate's house. As they're walking upstairs, Nate's mom is waving at her like, yes, like pageant, like parade wave, like, yes, pageant queen. And then she goes in Nate's room and she's just like, I ruined my life for you. Girl, he ruined your life. He ruined your life as soon as he picked you up from that 7-Eleven on the curb. He knew what the fuck he was doing. That nigga ain't stupid. This nigga is playing the dozens. He plays bitches on bitches on bitches. That's all he can do. Because he doesn't like himself, and that's the only thing that makes him feel anything, is to play bitches. It's like Pokemon cards. You gotta catch them all. Shit, he Ash Ketchum. Girl, please. He just stands there in silence and watches her cry, his emotionless self, just because he has no emotions. And then she starts to, on his chest, like, and he just stands there and allows her to hit his chest. And, they get in bed and fuck. Yes. We end on Rue's mom screaming into the phone, telling the people that her daughter is going to die, her daughter's going to kill herself and all these things because they won't put her in rehab. They only want to detox her. And Finn, I'm just like, oh, it was so much, but it wasn't like as roller coastery as last week, because I'm thinking it's the Super Bowl. They planned this out perfectly. We needed a rest after the last 2 episodes. We just needed to. That was a lot. And then in the next episode, Rue's probably going to get sold into the sex trade. Fez is going to die. The real story is going to happen, because the real story is these gangbangers coming after these people, and the police coming after Fez, or the gangbangers coming after Fez. Like, I'm just, Things no one is talking about. Rue owes this white woman this money. No one's saying a motherfucking thing. What did Rue think, that just because she gave her some morphine and bathed her and she was able to escape her house, that this woman was just going to leave her the fuck alone? She was nice to me and she helped me, so maybe she was just going to leave me alone about that $10,000. The price of a very cheap car, new car. You know, she's gonna leave me the fuck alone, and you know, everything's gonna be perfectly fine. Like, no, bitch. No, bitch. No. She's gonna come after you. She's gonna come after your sister. At least if someone had told Ali looked like he from the hood, he would have known what was up. He would have been like, so you flushed the suitcase of drugs? Who did they belong to? You know, ask the important. No one's asked. I'm glad I grew up in the hood. I may be dorky as fuck, but I'm glad that I have some sense. Cause no, that shit gives you sense. That shit makes you like understand certain situations, whether it's dangerous, whether it's cool, whether you just got to be cautious and aware in your surroundings. I mean, I don't think people should go through trauma to learn things, but I feel like this world is trash. There's too many fucked up things that happen in this world for us to just not be aware of the dangers that surround us. Okay, that's what I'm saying. We're not going to stop these predators from preying. So we have to protect ourselves. And I saw this meme. I was like, you want women to be nicer to men and smile and shit at them, but then you tell us that we need to carry knives and wear certain clothing and shit like that. Of course you're going to grow a race of women that are mean to every man they come across. Like, you're telling us to be mean to every man we come across because of rape, because you're not doing anything for the men. You're not saying anything to the men. You're not telling them to not rape. There's no like seminars and documentaries and shows and pamphlets that's telling men not to rape in a widespread basis. You're just telling women that we need to like keep our titties bound up and keep our ass tightened up and covered up and shit, and then nothing bad will happen. So, and don't talk to strangers, and don't be out at night, and carry pepper spray and knives. So why would I be nice to any man? Why? If that's the rhetoric and shit. So you know what? That is what it is. I'm gonna tell y'all what the world has told the rest of us is protect your fucking selves. So yeah, I'm glad I grew up where I grew up. I'm glad I'm aware of these situations. I'm glad I can look at this show and be like, this some bullshit. And I really hope they don't play it off like this white woman don't come after this bitch. Because no, that's not how it happens in real life, honey. These people want their monies. They set this shit up on purpose. They want this child because they can sell her into the sex trade. This is probably her step into the sex trade. Start selling children and shit. You know what I mean? Prostituting. And this woman is a sociopath, pure and clear. She's not a narcissist. She doesn't care about the notoriety. She just cares about keeping herself high and out of pain and making money. That's all she cares about. Nate over here, he want the attention, he want the affection, he want all of this, while at the same time, these bitches better not talk back to me. Oh God, I hate that nigga. You know, I don't condone killing yourself, but I would have laid it there and that nigga looked up at his face and been like, okay, kill yourself. Do it. You ain't about to scare me, nigga. Go. I've seen worse than this. What you gonna do? Shit. And what I think may happen, because I peeped the wall behind Nate when he was standing there talking to Maddie, or behind Maddie, one of them, when she came out the dressing room, whatever. It says, smile, you're on camera. I don't know if she got that shit on there as decoration. Oh no, she got a camera in her fucking room. I hope it's the latter. I hope there was a camera in there. I hope she get his ass arrested. Yes, it would be everything. It would be magical. It would be perfect. But he been sitting in that room for a long ass time, and he keeps saying that he knows her better than she knows herself. And he been in that room before. So if there was a camera in there, I would have thought he would have thought about that. But who knows? Who knows? These sociopath, narcissist people, they be slipping up. That's how they get caught, because they get cocky and think they can do whatever the fuck they want, and then they fuck up. That's how they get caught. Like, oh, no one's catching me. I can keep doing this. I can keep killing people and raping people and stealing from people and doing all this fuck shit to people because no one's caught me yet. That's how Trey Songz can keep raping people. I don't care. He did that shit. I don't give a fuck because nobody put him in jail yet. So he feels that he can keep doing that shit and be perfectly fine. He's still rich. Rich people live in a whole different land of things. They're surrounded by luxury and finery and people kissing their ass. So, you know, when you're caught up in that, your brain gets caught up in that too. And you think that that's all life is. And then you do shit like rape people over and over again because you think that, oh, well, everyone else is falling at their feet for me. She will too. I just gotta coerce her into it. Some fuck shit. So, you know, he probably got cocky. If there was a camera in there, good on you, Maddie. And when she was curled up in that bed, I was just like, if she was just a little bit older and wiser, she would have been happy that nigga left. I was like, is this the nigga you mad at Cassie over? Really? This is the nigga you mad at Cassie over? I would be happy that he's gone. Give us free. Give us free. Give us free. It's a new day. It's a brand new day. What? I would have been dancing around that bitch like Nate's mom did when Cal left. It's a brand new day. What? He's gone, bitch. But she don't know what different feels like yet. She don't know what life without that nigga feels like yet. Like real living without him and not feeling sad that he's gone, but just experiencing life and being happy. She doesn't know what that feels like, so she can't compare it yet. And I'm just like, girl, once you get past this grief and trauma, it's going to be magical. You're going to be able to do things you want to do, go places you want to go, make plans about your life you never even considered. Because that nigga ain't there to tear you the fuck down. Magical. Magical. Yes, honey. Everybody telling that nigga he crazy. I say the word crazy. It only applies to those people. For me personally, it only applies to those people that constantly hurt people to feel better and they don't have any empathy or care. And there's nothing you can do to fix them. And there's people out there that are like that. And that nigga is Nate. Everybody else on this show just sad and hurt and going through shit and just trying to live and heal. Even Kat, she was fucked up to Ethan. But at the end of the day, she's sad and hurt and she acknowledges that. She feels that inside. Nate over here, like his mom trying to tell him don't be angry, and I was just angry at my dad. She was like, there's been no self-reflection in this family because your dad didn't believe in therapy, and he was just like, just dumb-faced. Like, I'm not saying he's not hurt. I'm saying that he doesn't access that pain or self-reflect on it, and he refuses to. That's why he has these bitches around him to keep him drunk on vagina, so he doesn't have to think about his emotions and shit like that. Doesn't want to. It's too painful for him to think about. This is another side. This is what narcissists and sociopaths are. Now, sociopaths, they've been said to not have any empathy at all, no access to their emotions, period. They feel numb most of the time, so they need things to excite them. But the thing is, the things that excite them usually just make them angry or make them horny. And so there's some emotional capacity, but not a lot. Narcissists do have emotional capacity, but they're so afraid of facing all the shit that they've done to people and the emotions behind it and the reasons behind it and taking responsibility for it, that they completely just shove that shit down and ignore it and use things to make them feel better and go into survival mode and manipulate and hurt people, so that that's how they express their emotions. That's how they deal with those troubling emotions. They just hurt people till they don't feel as bad inside. But they never self-reflect or look inside and see where it came from and learn to heal from it and learn to love themselves as they are and forgive themselves. No, they don't have the capacity to do that. Versus somebody like Rue, who drowns herself in drugs so that she doesn't feel her emotions, but she feels them. She knows where they come from. She knows how they got there, and she knows that there's a lot of hard work that she needs to do to get through them. She just doesn't have the capacity to do that. It's totally different. And she cares how she affects other people, even though she's fucked up to people sometimes. That's different. So you see how they juxtapose that. Someone that deals with their emotions by completely not acknowledging them whatsoever and using other people to feel better, and someone who acknowledges their emotions but can't handle them and so drowns them in drugs. It's a very interesting show. Yes. So anyways, that's my review of this episode of I was about to say Insecure, y'all. I still miss that show. I don't give a fuck. That was my Sex and the City. If they don't come back with a fucking movie, these white bitches on Sex and the City came back with them boring ass movies that I didn't watch. So why can't Insecure have movies? They should have movies too. Like, you can take a minute. I know you've been playing this character since 2011, Issa. I know you don't want to do the same shit anymore. It's okay, I understand. But if you could just do us a favor and spend at least 6 months making a movie. Let me shut the fuck up. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this, review and whatever. And, I hope you comment and like and subscribe. I have only a few more spots until I have 1,000 subscribers. And that's when I get like a couple pennies every view. And that can go somewhere towards something, And so I would appreciate it if you did subscribe and share and like and do all the magical things. It would be nice. But yes, thank you for watching. I appreciate all of you, and Poops appreciates you too, don't you, Poops? Meow. She hates the fuck out of me. She's just like, I just wanted to sit here, bitch. But yes, thank you all, and later days.